Have you ever experienced this phenomenon where you are singing something in your head, some song, and then somebody who's sitting by you just picked up the line from exactly how you were singing it in your head, right on the mouth of that person? Exactly the same line. Or you had a thought of someone, and within some few minutes, the person showed up. You want to know how and why that happens? Stick and stay. I'll be right back to perform mind surgery. Welcome back. My name is Quist, your mind surgeon, and this is a freestyle session. It's no particular order to it, it's just freestyle. So, recent times I was having a chat with some friends, and something really happened. We mentioned someone's name, and the person showed up within some few minutes. There was also another phenomenon that I link that to, where sometimes you're singing a song lyrically and the person sitting next to you sings it out exactly from the very same stanza or verse. Especially when you get to the chorus part where the person sings it out and you go like, hey, I just sang this in my head. I was singing the same song in my head. So it's simple. When you understand the concept of the human system, and you can get a deeper understanding of what I'm going to say when you click on the link to watch videos I've made on the soul of a man, the mind of a man. So I'm going to explain using the same systems, okay? Like I always say that man is a soul that lives in the body, which is powered by a spirit, okay? And the same spirit that people have different forms of name for, that which we call God, the creator of the universe, the one who sustained the universe. It's not like that spirit is a human being, okay? It's the expression of the spirit in this physical realm as a human, okay? And so it's the same spirit that expresses itself as a plant. It's the same spirit that expresses itself as water. It's the same spirit that expresses itself as an animal. Yeah. So it's the spirits that give their life to whatever creation that has been created on the earth and beyond the earth. Okay. So as a man being a soul, right? And before you understand the phenomenon that we are discussing, you'd have to understand something that I'm going to share quickly with you. What's this thing? It has to do with the principle of interface. So an interface is anything or a system that is built between two systems. That's why it's called an interface. It interfaces between two systems. Okay, and usually the function of the interface is to provide a smooth transition of information or data from one end to the other. It also helps or aids in how the system relates with each other. So it's just an interface, okay? So the interface between you and me is possibly through my camera from my end and through your phone or television from your end. It's an interface. Now, this interface should be able to communicate with each other to help you understand and hear even what I'm saying. You understand? Now, the interface between me right now and my camera is the interface of my five senses: sense of sight, sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of hearing, and sense of taste. Okay, so interface is very essential, especially if you want to transfer information from one system to the other. It's the same thing with a system of man. Okay, so in order for information to be transferred from the external environment through the body onto the soul, there must be an interface, and that interface is the interface of your mind. It's responsible for the mental realm of your human system. Now, on the other direction, where the spirit is, okay, if information has to come from the spirit, what you call God, into your soul, it has to go through an interface, and that's the interface of your heart, which is responsible for your spiritual realm. Now, it is the heart people confuse as a spirit man, or they say man is a spirit. Man is not their spirit. Man is spiritual through the presence of the interface of his heart. And so the spiritual part of man is because of the presence of the heart of man. Okay? And so if God wants to, as a spirit, in the inside of you, through his expression, wants to carry out an information onto your soul, which is you, your personality, it has to go through an interface. And this interface is very, very complex. And in this case, we're talking about two interfaces, the interface of your heart and the interface of your mind, to explain the phenomenon we're discussing. I hope you understand. Okay. So let's talk about the mind quickly as an interface. I rightly said in my previous video that the mind as an interface should have the attributes to store information. It should have the attributes of indexing an information. It should have the attributes of sorting out information. It should have the attribute of relating with the information. It should also have the attribute of segmenting the information. And it should have the characteristic of growing. Either it can be fixed or it can grow or develop. It should also have one characteristic of its ability to influence. Okay, so when it comes to the interface of your mind, having these characteristics, anytime an information is coming to your body, onto your soul, through the interface of your mind, these characteristics must come to play. So in respect to the phenomenon we're talking about, right, let me quickly go and explain the interface of the heart, then we come back to the first scenario or the first phenomenon. So when it comes to the heart also, it should have the same ability, but because of the composition and function of the heart, which is your spiritual realm, is quite different from the mind. Okay, so contents in the heart gets into the heart from the spirit end into your soul by keeping it and assessing it. And usually the content gets into your heart realm when it has been repeatedly coming from your soul, which receives this information from the body through the interface of your mind. I don't know if you understand. Maybe I'll use a diagram to explain this for us to understand and appreciate it. So, the first phenomenon. You're singing a song in your head and somebody picks it up from you, exactly from the same line. Let's use your mobile phone to do this illustration, right? Your mobile phone is able to pick up signals, and that's why you can access what you're watching right now, because you're connected to a certain transmitter and a receiver which is mounted somewhere, provided by your internet service provider or telecommunication company. So there must be something built in your mobile phone that has the ability to receive signals or waves from another end. Okay, it's the same thing that man has been built from. I always say this, that everything around us is a prototype of the need of a man, or is a prototype of how man has been shaped. Okay, so the reason why currently dog is no more the best friend of man, it's because something has replaced it, and that's your mobile device, smartphone. It knows you, it knows all your secrets, even than your spouse. That's why it's one of the first things you pick when you wake up from bed. In fact, the way you react when your mobile phone falls from your hands is different from the way you react when your loved one is going through some difficulty. What am I even saying? But that's the truth. What I'm trying to say is that the mobile phone or your smartphone mimics you. And so we're going to use that same concept to explain this. The human system is able to receive signals just like the mobile phone. And so your mind, through the presence of your soul, which is not seen with the physical eyes, acting spiritual. And this way I'm using the word spiritual, but not spirit, okay? because we cannot see the soul of a man with our physical eyes, it takes up a certain form, and it's not it can be placed in a system, in a closed system. It can also go through anything because it's not bound by matter. I don't know if you understand. It does not kowtow to the 3 dimensions of this world. The spirit can go through, can check out from your body when you're sleeping and go do activities. It's the same thing. We don't see the signals coming from our mobile phones, but it's able to communicate with another mobile phone. You have never seen a Bluetooth ray with your eyes before. You've never seen an infrared ray with your eyes. But it's present. Gamma rays, X-rays, and all of it. You don't see it with your naked eyes, but it's present. It's the same thing. There have been times where people have been able to capture some things that we cannot see with our eyes in another realm with telescopic devices. As to whether it's true or not, science explains to some extent. So once your soul has that ability to leave your body and be inside your body, it means that it's able to expand its scope. And a perfect example is when your eyes, or you're facing, like I'm facing this direction. If I'm alone and somebody starts tiptoeing behind me, when the person steps in my area of influence or the scope of my soul, I'll feel it. I will know that there's a presence behind me, so I'll turn. It is not that is made possible by the presence of your soul, which has the ability to expand and have a certain realm or scope or radius of influence. So when you step into that boundary, your soul picks it up. Okay? Now, once the soul has that ability, it's the same thing. I sit by you, then you're singing a song in your head. That song is sung in your head by your soul. Okay? Your brain is responsible for singing the song, but whilst you're singing it, it's because it's entered your soul, and your soul is singing it to your body, that's your brain, through the interface of your mind. So once you're singing it, the soul feeds on data and information. Okay? Now, when I'm seated by you, because my soul has the ability to go beyond my body, there are boundaries overlap. And once the boundary overlaps, there's a transfer of information, or we begin to share the same data, because our soul is expanding, and once it overlaps, the common data is shared between us. Just like you having a Wi-Fi and both of you connected to the Wi-Fi. So it becomes the interface between two devices. So at this moment, through the power of our mind, with the characteristic of a soul being able to leave a body or expand beyond the physical body, we both connect to a same hotspot. So once it picks it up, immediately my soul begins to sing exactly from the same line you are singing in your head without voicing out. And I do that through the interface of my mouth. I don't know if you understand. So it's just like we both devices connected to the same hotspot, and then you share an information and I show it on my screen. For those who understand the technology behind it, same thing with man. I sit by you, you're singing it in your head, then I sing it out, because we are connected to the same hotspot. And the hotspot here is the presence of our souls overlapping beyond our physical body through the interface of our mind, and then we speak it through our mouth. Okay? The same thing when it comes to mentioning the name of someone, the person shows up. Because now the range is far. The range is wide. So we're conversing, and then through, let's say we're gossiping about someone, or we're conversing about someone, or you're thinking about the person, then the person shows up. Wherever the person is coming from, your soul is able to expand. So your soul expands to a certain level that within a certain radius, you're able to pick up the signal of the presence of another soul. Now, something just dropped into my head that I want to share. If you have ever used an app called Zenda before, or those of you who use Android device where there's something called Near Me or Share By or some Nearby Share or something. It's an app where you're able to share big files quickly over the phone through a Wi-Fi or through switching on your hotspot or let's say Bluetooth. But the particular example I want to give is the Zenda. So you go to receive and you go to send, but your device begins to scan in a certain radius. Then your phone, the receiver's phone, shows up by name on that radius. Then you tap on it, and then quickly you're connected and you share the information. Okay, it's the same thing with us. So I'm sitting in my room, I'm thinking about someone. Once I engage in the activity of thinking, I employ the principle of meditation, which boosts my soul to come up from my body to increase my radius of influence, or in terms of boundary or bandwidth. Now my soul begins to travel that far. So immediately the person steps into my boundary, or the person receives an information. Let me go visit Dale. Yeah, and it can go as very far as possible. Let me just visit Dale. So it comes into your soul as a thought. I told you the soul feeds on thoughts, information, data. So the person receives the signal coming from me and makes a move. So the motion of the person in the soul is activated. Oh, I miss Dale, let me go visit him. And a will is taking that, let me go visit him. I get up, the person gets up, drives the car or whatever it is, and begins to gravitate towards my end. Now, immediately the person is quite close. I feel the signal so strong within my soul because it's picking up the signal that's emitting from the person. Then I begin to talk about the person. Within a short time, the person shows up. The person shows up because the thought in your soul, through the interface of your mind and your heart, activated a thought in the soul of that person, possibly within that week. So the person said, oh, let me go visit this guy. I've missed him. It's been long. So immediately you meet each other, you go like, we were just talking about you. Or within the week, I thought about you. You came to mind. I believe you experienced something like that. So that's how it basically works. Maybe the next time I get the chance to explain this, I'll explain this whole concept of word of knowledge, people picking up things from people, because I have that gift, so I'm able to do that. And how people have used that to prophetically manipulate people. I'm gonna get into trouble, trust me. But I'll do that video so you understand how these things work from the realm of the heart of a man. So I'll give a snippet. So God puts a bedding on your heart. Then again, the heart is an interface between the spirit, God, and your soul. So God puts a bedding on your heart. How? By giving you an information as data. So he brings the personality of the person, a thought of that person, into your soul realm through the interface of your heart. Now when it enters your soul realm, you begin to think about that person through meditation. I need to visit this man. I need to visit this guy. I need to visit this guy. So God is communicating to your soul through the interface of your heart. I need to visit this guy. Now, if you don't If you don't take a will in your soul to visit the person, the next thing you hear is that the person is gone. Then you hear the information, you go like, oh my goodness, I just thought about this. He's been on my mind, not on my heart. He's been on my mind throughout this week. Little did I know that the person is leaving. Okay? So the person was on your mind because once the data or the information entered your soul, then it goes to your body, because then you begin to take initiative. You begin to, should I visit the person? You're thinking that in your head through the interface of your mind. So your mind is able to pick up the signal or information data from your soul. Then it goes like, I'm busy this week. I have an assignment this week. I have this to do this week. So it battles with it. Now, if you decide not to visit the person, then you hear the bad news. If you decide to visit the person, possibly God is trying to let you save that person. It's the same thing. That spirit in the inside of you called God can give you dreams. And we'll talk about dreams in subsequent videos. There's a lot of things I want to share with you so that we understand these basic things around us. So let me conclude by saying this. When we begin to study, or when you sit down to study yourself as a man, as a device, you would appreciate a lot of things that are happening around you, so you don't find yourself in certain situations that can be avoided. So that you'll be able to understand how the universe communicates with us. You'll be able to understand how the Spirit of God communicates with us. So that you'll be able to understand how we even communicate with one another. Because beyond what you see with our eyes, a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. And when we don't have an understanding of these things, it puts us in a place of disadvantage. And that is why we encounter certain situations and we don't know where it's coming from. We don't know why we are encountering that situation, whether it's meant for us or whether it's orchestrated to give us a certain promotion in life and all of that. Okay? So stick and stay, subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're going to bring you a lot of information, great information, stuff that you've not really might not have heard before. And I'm going to do justice to that as a mind surgeon. Trust me on that. It's going to be a beautiful journey. And I still remain Dale Quist, your mind surgeon. Freestyle, this is not scripted. So take care of yourself and let your mind do the conversations. I'm out.